So it was kind of a shocking day in general if you're a fan of Xbox because I thought that this would maybe never happen. And a lot of the times when we see stuff like this happen, some people will point their fingers and goes, "Hey, see, that's the wave of the future, man. That's going to be how it's going to be or whatever." And I don't necessarily agree with that. I think that there are kind of ebbs and flows to these things, and as businesses, there's certain things that make more sense than others. So, this is going to be a very hot topic, I'm sure. I'm very curious to hear what everybody else thinks about it, as well as what, in general, gamers think about it, because I think this is pretty much an interesting topic and something that I, for one, am fairly shocked at. So I want to go ahead and get into it. What's up, everybody? Crap Gamer here with Crap Gamer Reviews, back with another video. Thank you so much for checking it out. I appreciate it. Please like, share, subscribe. I would appreciate that as well. Again, I do daily gaming content. I let people know. And, it's just one of those things where I have fun with it. I try to be entertaining and informative as well. So, we'll see what happens. Anyway, so if you guys aren't aware, there is a big situation with what's going on with this game that was exclusive to PlayStation called Death Stranding. That's right. So Death Stranding, surprise launched on Xbox, and it's crazy, right? And there's a story behind why this is happening. So the developer announced the Xbox version in a social media post and confirmed that it will be available at a 50% discount for a limited time, which means it's only $20 in the US. The announcement was made as the clock ticked to midnight in Japan, making exactly 5 years since Death Stranding was first released on the PS4, which could suggest that an exclusivity agreement expired. Although it's not an exclusivity agreement, to be honest with you, we've now have kind of confirmed that Sony sold the IP because they owned it to Kojima. So according to the game's Xbox page, Death Stranding includes support for true Xbox achievements, cloud saves, play anywhere, as well as the director's cut features such as photo mode, ultra wide, and more. Sony published Death Stranding for the PS4 in November of 2019, and 505 Games released it on PC in 2020. The director's cut hit PS5 in 2021 and was released for PC in early 2022. A sequel, Death Stranding 2 on the Beach, is currently in development exclusively for PlayStation 5. However, creator Hideo Kojima has strengthened his ties with Xbox with the announcement of the new game OD. But the first thing that I kind of want to point out is that the OD game probably isn't even exclusive, to be honest with you. I would guess that Microsoft allows that to be everywhere. And, that's going to be something that I think people are going to have to sort of deal with in general when it comes down to how they're feeling about, their video games. That to me, that kind of says it all. I don't know. It's we have more information on it. Was basically this game was owned by Sony. They sold the IP. That's kind of where we're at with this. It's not because I know a lot of people saw this in the morning and were like, "Oh, Sony's doing what Microsoft's doing. They're putting their games everywhere." The fact that 505 Games is publishing means that Sony gets nothing for it, and so Sony has no interest. To me, this proves one: Sony has no interest in publishing games on Xbox, right? They have interest in, only do they just maybe this could be a situation where it kind of looks like they're not interested in, or they don't look at Xbox as real competition anymore again. That could be the situation that we're sort of seeing right now is, hey, 5 years has passed. We kind of got what we wanted out of it. The only problem that I see with this, or not really problem, but the question that I would have is, this console game is made on the Guerrilla Games engine, right? So it's like a proprietary thing, and so is the sequel. So it's really interesting to me to see how this game is gonna run and be on the Xbox at the end of the day, because I feel like that is something that realistically we've never really seen before. And again, I really do think that it's not It's not a situation where Sony's going all in on Xbox or anything like that. Like people can like chill out with all that nonsense. But what it is, I believe, is just that maybe it's potential that Sony made a deal for Kojima's new IP. It also could be Sony attempting to make sure that honestly, that they have a situation where people are going to look at this and go, like third parties, and go, oh, okay, we can keep our IP if we go with PlayStation. Because before, Sony was well known for wanting to kind of own the IP and stuff like that, and that doesn't always work for developers. Developers like to own their own stuff or whatever. Sometimes this was a big reason why Sunset Overdrive was a Xbox exclusive. Now, is that going to be the way it's always going to be? Nah, I kind of doubt it. But for right now anyway, the way that we're sort of seeing things kind of work out, I feel like this is what's happening. It's not the be all end all thing where everybody's going multi-platform. I definitely don't think that's happening, because I think Sony has no interest in publishing anything on on Xbox, to be honest with you. I just, for whatever really main reason is that I just feel like they don't look at Microsoft that much as competition, and what we're going to start to see is more and more of this type of thing that happens where Microsoft is doing their own thing or whatever, and Sony, like, what can Sony do? Like, Sony has to kind of do their own thing, and I think Sony realistically just probably looks at it and doesn't look at this as a game that's going to sell 30 million copies, and they're probably thinking to themselves, we got what we wanted out of it. Maybe we get this new IP from Kojima. It kind of is what it is. So that's the way I kind of look at it. And maybe you guys kind of can agree with me on that. Maybe not. Listen, I don't really know. But the way I just kind of look at these things and go, okay, well, Microsoft, they're getting something out of this, and it's not published by Sony or anything like that. It's the game's not owned by Sony anymore. It's just a situation where this kind of just happened. They probably wanted some more things for the IP or whatever, and I'm not mad about it. Like for me, when I look at stuff like this when it happens, the way that I look at this, I just think it's kind of weird, and I think it's like we're in this weird situation where it's becoming kind of convoluted or whatever, and it's getting kind of confusing, right? Like you don't want. I feel like if you're these companies, it doesn't make sense to confuse people. Don't confuse people. Your consumer base. Like, are you gonna put your stuff everywhere? It's like, this is the big problem that I have with Xbox a lot of the time. And when it comes down to it, we'll have to see if this is something that happens in the future. Like, how is Sony going to handle this stuff? Are they going to continue to handle these things the way that they have been? Are they gonna keep exclusives? Like, people, I think, genuinely are curious about some of this stuff, so we'll have to see how that kind of works out. But it is sort of an interesting thing nonetheless, and I do think it's going to be interesting to see, like, the way that people were kind of all about this, going, oh man, Microsoft is out here doing this or that or the other thing, and Sony's kind of copying them or whatever. Like, I've never looked at it that way. I've always kind of looked at it as Microsoft is kind of more corporate than Sony, and not that I'm a huge fan of like the Sony corporation either. It's like, I know people look at me kind of strange when I say that, but I honestly just feel like at the end of the day, these are just companies trying to take our money, and they'll do whatever they can to make an extra buck. It's not old school the way the way that it used to be, where these companies were very much trying to get us to buy their platform, and kind of they would come out with things that you knew had to be exclusive. Like, I don't think those days are gone by any means. I just really feel like it's something that we kind of have to maybe accept, that there's going to be less of these kind of third-party deals or deals where stuff like this happens. So With that being said, I would appreciate your guys' thoughts and opinions on this. Are you guys going to play Death Stranding? Are you going to buy it? Let me know. Sound off, rate, comment, subscribe, rack 'em up, fact 'em up, Crap Gamer 'em up, and I'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching. Crap Gamer out.